Hey guys, I hope you're all well and safe. It is Jack from Tech Fusions here, and today in this video we're going to be taking a look at the best beginner DJI drone, which is of course the Mini 2. So if you are new to drones like us and pretty much beginners, then keep watching this video. So the first thing I want to say about the DJI Mini 2 is in the name, coming at just 249 grams. Now this is actually really good if you are a beginner drone pilot like us, because it means you don't have to go through any kind of exam or anything like that, which you do for lots of drones in lots of different countries. So again, if you are completely new to drones and just want to take it out flying, getting an option like this is probably a good option for you. The DJI Mini 2 comes with the drone itself, a controller which, interestingly enough, is actually bigger than the drone, a battery and some other little cables to go with the drone. Now I actually went for the combo pack, and that is because I wanted the extra batteries. You can get that on Amazon, I believe, and the benefit of that is it came with 3 batteries. This is good if you're like me and you want to take it out just that little bit longer, but again, as a beginner, that completely depends on your preference. I also brought a couple of other accessories with my drone, such as some ND filters, which I will leave a link to in the description down below. If you don't know what ND filters are, they're a little bit like sunglasses for your lens, which makes it a little bit easier if you are taking your drone out in conditions where it might be a bit more sunny or something like that, especially with the sensor on this camera not being so great. So something that I got for myself, but again, if you're a beginner pilot, it might not be something that you need straight away. So as I mentioned earlier, this beginner DJI drone is only 249 grams. This means the DJI Mini 2 is tiny. And when I say tiny, I mean I haven't used other drones, but this is just tiny for a drone, and the fact that it is so small is really cool. And I guess the benefit of that is it means that you can travel with it really easily. The DJI Mini 2 also has a Ultra 4K camera. The camera on this DJI Mini 2 is actually great for the size of the drone. Don't get me wrong, there are better cameras on other drones, and even if you go up DJI's range, you do get better cameras and better sensors, but at the same time, the drones are much bigger, so in a way you've kind of got to respect that. And I guess it kind of highlights how this drone really is aimed at beginners like myself. With that said, if you're not used to flying drones and you're a beginner like us, then this camera is pretty well, and I think for us, we're only going to be posting it on YouTube, so again, I think for YouTube it is fine. Talking about the camera, I also found it works better if you take it out at sunrise or sunset, and this is because the sun is a lot lower at this time, which just means the camera quality generally looks a lot better because you're not getting some of that oversaturation which you sometimes get if you take it out during the day. Now I've got some footage here which you can see when we did take it out during the day, and you can see a difference in some of the footage, particularly when it is facing the sun, and this was still with an ND filter on, so it's something just to be careful of when you are taking your drone out, and I would recommend taking it out at sunrise and sunset if you can. The software that's been created by DJI is just amazing, and you can download the Fly app when you get your drone. It just works really well, and I found it so easy to use, especially as a beginner. The app has GPS, which links to both the controller and the drone, and to be honest, I rarely had a time where it lost contact with the drone. In fact, I don't think I've had one time where it's actually lost contact, which again is such an important feature because you want to know where your drone is, and you want to know in any situation you can get it back as easy as possible. So the software really is good. Apparently it wasn't quite as good in the Mini 1, and it's still good, but apparently the Mini 2 is a lot better, and I have to say it is just amazing in terms of the way that works, and I haven't lost signal with the drone once. I did have a few times when it was really windy, and the app would just tell me to lower the drone immediately just because the wind is too strong in that area, and again, because it works so well, you can just respond to that very quickly, lower it and bring it back to where you need to go. Again, if you're new to drones, this is really useful because you don't want to accidentally fly up where it's too windy or something like that, and then of course crash or ruin your drone. So the fact that the app works so well is such a big plus. So well done DJI there. The DJI Mini 2 also has 10 kilometers of video transmission. This again means the drone can actually go really far and still work fine. To be honest, I wouldn't take it too far because I'm one of these people who like to generally know where my drone is. But again, it's nice just having that. So when you take this beginner DJI drone for your first flight, again, really obvious things, but just take it to a really open space. What I found by taking it to a really open space, it meant that you was able to really work on learning how to use those controls, because often it's those really subtle movements that make the best kind of shots. And I think taking it to a really open space just really allows you to do that. I actually found this a lot safer when you're first flying your drone as well, because then again, you just don't have to worry about people. I was quite lucky where I was able to take it somewhere where I didn't see one person, which really allowed me just to kind of play with those controls and also start learning with those subtle movements as well, because often it's about those really little movements, and if you move it too quickly then you can sometimes get a little jolt on the drone as well. The DJI Mini 2 has 3 modes. It has Cine mode, it has normal mode and sport mode. As a beginner, I tended to use the Cine mode the most, and I think that's because as somebody who's still quite new to drones, I still wanted to take that extra bit of caution. The drone was surprisingly a lot better in windy conditions to what I was expecting. Again, as a beginner pilot, I would always recommend taking a lot of caution when taking it out into windy conditions. For me, I was just so excited to actually fly the drone, but it is something you should be really careful of. I did notice a big difference when I took it out on a day when there wasn't really any wind and it was so much easier to control. So again, if you are a beginner drone pilot, something just to bear in mind there. With that said, I could see how much the wind was blowing and I was amazed just by how well the DJI Mini 2 coped with that wind. Again, if you are doing it, just don't take it up too high because you don't want to crash your drone or anything like that. So of course the DJI Mini 2 is aimed at beginners. Now, while there's a lot of pluses to that, there are some features on the DJI Mini 2 that you do get on the other drones, which I think in a way is quite sad because as a beginner, these are things that you would probably really want. So the first thing is obstacle avoidance, and this drone doesn't really support obstacle avoidance, which I do think is quite sad because if you're like me and you're quite worried about crashing it, and especially on your first few flights, having that feature is probably going to be a big plus. But then again, that is something of course you compromise for the size of the drone. This means you do have to really learn how to control the drone because there is of course a bigger chance of you crashing it, and again, that's all the more reason to be careful with your drone. Another downside of this beginner DJI drone is that it doesn't have some of the tracking features which you can get on some of those higher end drones from DJI. Overall, I love the DJI Mini 2. I really do think it is a great drone, especially if you are a beginner. I've been using it. I bought it myself from Amazon and I have to say it is something that I will definitely keep using. It is a lot of fun to use. Again, like anything, it takes practice, and the more you practice, the better you can get. I am very much a beginner drone pilot, although I have to say I have really loved taking it out and just having fun with it. And I think getting a Mini 2 allows you to do that without having to worry about those restrictions and having to do those exams and things which you would have to take if you got a more expensive drone, which of course weighs a lot more. We would love to hear your thoughts on this beginner DJI Mini 2 drone. We try to respond to all comments as much as possible, so we would really love to hear from you guys. If you're new to our channel, we make videos around lots of technology such as gimbals, electric scooters, and of course drones like this one. This is our first video actually on a drone. As I said at the start of the video, I am a complete beginner myself at drones, but if you would like us to see any more drone content, again, let us know in the comments down below. We want to know what you think and also what we make videos on in the future. If you feel like you got value from this video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Again, it really is appreciated. And of course, if you're new to our channel, we would love it if you hit that subscribe button. We will also leave a affiliate link for the DJI Mini 2 in our description down below. Of course, if this is something you want to buy for yourself and you click on our link, then we will get a very small commission from that, and it just really helps the channel out. This was Jack from Tech Fusions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.